I want authority. And, the root of the word authority is author. A lot of people, want that book. And that's a lot of times what they come to me with. But there are a lot of pitfalls along the way. Amazingly, like when I started doing book publishing in the 90s, there were maybe 4,000 books a month across everything. It was a much smaller number. Now we get like 4,000 a week. It's something like 6 to 10 times more books are coming out now than were 20 years ago. Right now, one problem that's the elephant in the room, maybe we want to say, is that about 30% of the books that are being published right now, according to my friends over at the ISBN agency, are AI written.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Be What Works Weekly, where we talk about, the issues that entrepreneurs deal with and try to bring as many people in to expose the listeners to different facets of business. And today I'm excited because we're going to talk about something that I'm really curious about, but I know nothing of. So we've got Julie Trelstad, and Julie, you are a book futurist.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what that is. But I'm really interested because I have a lot of friends that are in, I guess, social media space. And the one thing they tell you is if you really want to gain influence, you can do public speaking, you can write a book. So what is it?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. What is it you do?
I have been working in book publishing for over 30 years, and I do a couple of things. One, I sort of work with industry insiders, professionals to work on sort of this new AI licensing problem, which I know we'll talk about at some point. And on the other hand, I work with individuals who either want to be authors or they are authors and they want help navigating the space because it's a little more complicated than you might think
Yeah.
to write and publish a book.
Yeah. So an ideal client for you looks like.
Yeah, I have two kind of ideal clients. One is just exactly what you're talking about, an influencer, a podcaster, a thought leader, a business owner who has a book, somebody who has a lot of written material or content in their brain, and they need to get it down onto paper or pixels, help you figure that out. And on the other hand, I also work with people who want to build a career as an author. So I help them build a platform so that they can publish multiple books,
Yeah.
either on their own or with the help of a large publisher. So I'm very much a big generalist. I've been in the industry so long, I can take you any way you want to go.
Yeah. You're like a book concierge.
More or less, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. So you go through an intake process, and what does that look like?
Well, yeah, I have like 4 different kind of points of intake. If people want to work with me, they can come in and say like, "Ooh, I think I might want to write a book, but boy, is this going to be a lot of work and a lot of time, and I'm not even sure how to approach it." With an author like that, I can actually take them through a competitive analysis and look at their other people's books and figure out, okay, which book hasn't been written yet that only you can write, and I help them create that plan.
Okay.
And then I have once they're done with the book, and I don't help with the writing process. I can advise, but I usually would send them off to my friends who are editors or book coaches. And then when they're ready again, I have something called the book launch buddy, where I'll sit with you side by side to develop your marketing plan and help you literally launch that book. We can get it printed, we can get it on Amazon, we can get it, any way you want to distribute it. And then the third one, which I'm finding even more frequently, is a relaunch service. Because a lot of people, they write a book, they're really excited, they get it on Amazon, and then nothing really happens.
Right.
So I help them like, okay, it's fine, no problem. Let's find your real audience and let's relaunch the book in a way
Yeah.
that works.
Start again.
Right. And then for all of these clients, I have what I call the Author Studio, which is just a weekly coaching group, coaching and mentoring. So you can sign up and you can, I meet you where you are. And everyone learns from everyone else. And I can talk to the whole process from ideation to selling foreign rights, whole thing.
Yeah. What are you seeing people come to you? Like what's their motivation? What?
Just like you were saying right in the beginning, they're like, I want authority. And, the root of the word authority is author. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know if
I
that's a
just
coincidence.
realized that, yeah. As I'm writing it down, I was like, "There it is."
There it is. A lot of people, want that book, and that's a lot of times what they come to me with. Also, very often they'll come to me when they finished it, and usually they will have worked with a book coach or an editor, and they're like, "Okay, now what? Do I need to send it to a publisher? Do I need to self-publish? How do I do that?" And, it's kind of technical, and once you learn it once, you get the hang of it, but there are a lot of pitfalls along the way, and I help people avoid those.
Well, there's a lot of competition. How many books come out
Oof.
and yeah,
Yeah. Amazingly, like when I started doing book publishing in the 90s, there were maybe 4,000 books a month across everything. It was a much smaller number. Now we get like 4,000 a week. It's something like 6 to 10 times more books are coming out now than were 20 years ago. Right now, one problem that's the elephant in the room, maybe we want to say, is that about 30% of the books that are being published right now, according to my friends over at the ISBN agency, are AI written.
AI written? Yeah.
And so it's like really like massively increased the bulk of books. Um, but booksellers like Barnes and Noble and Amazon are starting to refuse to carry those books.
Really?
So yeah,
Well, it's
the
almost in line with and I could be incorrect in saying this, but I had heard that YouTube was not gonna monetize AI, pure AI
pure
content.
AI.
Yeah,
Right. I think there's no problem in somebody using AI to help them write the book,
sure.
as long as they don't just say, "Write me a book." And cut and usually a lot of what these bad actors, or I would say bad actors, are doing is they're taking a current book. Like, I worked with an author last year who just published a book with Penguin Random House about a famous entertainment figure. She published that book. Within 10 days, there were a whole bunch of copies of that book where people had taken her book, fed it to their AI, and somebody says, "Make this book just enough different." And they
Yeah,
do.
make it spicy.
Yeah, make it right? And that's a real problem, but I don't think it's a real problem for somebody who like, writing is a daunting project, AI can
Yeah.
help me get through that process."
Well, and I think most business people use AI, in some way, shape, or form to help them speed up, certain tasks. You
Totally. Yeah.
you mentioned something earlier about AI. Was it copywriting? What was it?
Well, copyright, I mean, one thing, I work with a company called Amlet that is actually designed to help authors protect their work in the age of AI and to license it. So
Really?
it creates a digital identifier for a work. There's this thing called the ISCC, which is the International Standard Content Code, very techy, right?
Yeah, yeah, sounds
And so,
official.
right? So what it lets you do is to upload your book's content, and it creates a unique fingerprint. It doesn't copy the whole contents, but it creates enough of a match so that if somebody else tries to license the same material, like one of these bad actors
Yeah,
copying your book, and they tried to also get that book identifier, it would go bleep, 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 bleep. This is duplicate material. You copied it more than 80%. So this is a new way, machine readable way of protecting intellectual property.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
We
So
used to call
cool.
it we used to call it plagiarism.
Yeah, yeah, and we've had forever, like, there's these locks on, ebooks called digital rights management, or DRM,
Okay.
that doesn't, if you buy an ebook, you can't, like, copy it or put it in. I mean, you can, but you can't easily do it. It hasn't stopped any pirate anywhere at any time, but it stops, like, normal people like you and me from hacking into our Kindle books and, like, selling them to somebody else,
Yeah,
right? We
yeah,
can't do that. That's been around since ebooks have been around, since the early 2000s. But as I say, it didn't stop plagiarism. It didn't stop people from copying this material. Whereas this is like proof of ownership. It's like, this is mine.
yeah, like a
And
watermark almost.
like a watermark, you can register copyright, but the only way you can enforce that is with a lawyer.
Right.
This does it digitally and automatically.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but lawyers cost money.
Yeah.
So
And take a lot of time, It could take months, years to prove your case, right?
Right,
This is
right.
instant.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. So if somebody came to you, raised their hand and said, "Hey, gosh, Julie, I have an idea. I have a lot of knowledge in this niche industry. I'd like to write a book." About how long of a process from, let's say, from start, raising their hand to actually having a book available on Amazon? And I have a number of friends I know that some are writing, some have already written, um, and their marketing when they release can be totally different.
Mhm.
But if I said right now, "Hey, I would really like to write a book on, the 50 things that real estate agents do that they should not do," um,
Okay.
how long would I expect to have that available on Amazon?
Oh, well, okay. So, I mean, writing is going to be entirely up to you. Like, if you can write that quickly,
Yeah.
you know, I would say like a minimum size book that you would want to publish on Amazon would be about 15,000 words. And for
Okay.
reference, your standard novel is about 60,000 words or about 200 pages. So 15,000 would be about like 50 or 60 pages, just depending on how you did it. So that's a
Yeah.
short book. Um, so it's up to you how fast you can write that.
Okay.
And then from the point that you have it written, I usually give my clients 4 to 6 months because we go through a process. We still have human editors. It's really nice to have a proofreader, editor read it. You still have to have it laid out. There's some amazing tools you can use yourself. If you want to do it all yourself, honestly, you could upload that manuscript and have it on Amazon tomorrow afternoon because Amazon has like page formatting and everything built into it. But there are a couple of things I like to do the old fashioned way, which is like make sure I have a real editor, have a page designer. We run through it. We actually run through it twice. So we'll have a copy edit, we'll lay out the pages, then we'll have a proofreader look at it again. You can have your digital tools do it, still do it old school, but that's like, 3, 4 weeks to get all that done. But from the time I have that final PDF to upload onto Amazon, or I have to make an EPUB file, which is the digital file that goes into an ebook, literally it's days. We usually recommend that you upload your book 2 or 3 weeks before you want to publish it, so you have the opportunity to market it and sell it. So, to answer your question, it's anywhere from tomorrow
Right.
to 4 months from now, just depending on how you want to run the process,
On how fast you can get the words down.
how fast you can type, right?
Well, and nowadays, I use an AI tool called, Whisper Flow.
Oh, I
So
use it too. Yeah, blah
so
blah
so
blah.
you could I could just kind of have an outline, and then I could just talk and let it
That's
go.
That's exactly what I recommend. You can do your walking, talk, and write sessions. Have an outline, and that's something you can definitely, use an AI for. Is like I recently helped one of my clients who had she gave multiple presentations on stages. We just took all her old PowerPoints and the
Mhm.
transcripts of her talks, and we fed them into an AI. And then I have a few proprietary ways I like to organize books. So I compared my framework to her talks, and then it gave us an outline. And then I asked AI, okay, usually the difference between like a short piece or a white paper and an actual book, which seems daunting, is just including specific examples, case studies, like personal stories, anecdotes, things that sort of take these ideas down into the concrete and turn them into stories, which makes a great read.
Yeah.
So I would then ask AI to give me a list of 20 questions to elicit these stories from the client. We'll use Whisper Flow or auto recording the session. Again, have it process it. It's a great way to do it because it comes out very much in your voice. It doesn't sound like AI, it's your words,
Yeah.
which is better than saying, like, hey, typing with the AI because, it
Uh,
gets a lot closer to your own voice.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. Any other tips or tricks that if somebody's thinking, "Gosh, I do have some knowledge and I would like to," any things they should be doing before they get to the point of actually saying, "Okay, now I really wanna do this?"
Totally. I recommend going back to, again, looking at the competition. I spent the first 15 years of my career as an acquiring editor. So it was my job. I actually did architecture and home construction books. And I had to work with authors. And then when I presented it to my boss, the publisher, the person with the money in the publishing company, I always had to prove two things to them. I had to prove to them that this book is very similar to the bestsellers that we had last year. Like, people are already looking for a book on this topic, like
Right.
Small Houses, for instance.
Yeah.
But this author has a completely unique take. And you're looking for that intersection. And if anyone's interested, I've created an AI, the little black dress AI, that will actually like identify your just right fit
Yeah.
through an interview to say, like, because you don't want to just write everybody else's real estate tip book, right? You want to write your book that only you could do from your point of view. And that's what makes it spicy and interesting. And your personality is what's going to differentiate it from everything else out there.
Yeah. That's true. That's the only secret sauce you have, right? Is you. What are the secrets of launching a book? Because I notice a lot of people that have never written books before, their goal is to sell a certain number of books within launch time so that they would be recognized as a bestseller on whichever platform. Is there
There's
a secret code?
there totally is a secret code. Um, there's a guy who famously published a 4-page book with a picture of his foot in it and proved that it could be an Amazon bestseller. So so the way you get to be an Amazon bestseller
People
is
like
that
foot books, I guess.
uh, not even, he only had to
Eh,
sell 3 to get to be a number 1 bestseller, and he sold them to his friends.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the trick.
Genius.
Amazon is made up of all of these categories, right? It's not like you're not number 1 on Amazon, because if you were number 1 on Amazon, you're selling 1,000 books a day. There's like 10 books that are like selling at that velocity. However, there's more than 500 categories on Amazon. I'm not sure if that's exactly right, but a whole
Well,
bunch of them.
it's a lot.
And it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. So, the way I would do this if I were looking at Amazon and saying, what category can I win? You would go and browse Amazon instead of searching. If you go to the Kindle book tab and then you browse the different categories, it'll show you the list of all the categories
Gotcha.
that are in it.
Okay.
And what you do is you just like, okay, my book, and it should be a good fit for your book, right? It's not like, I think this graphic designer had it under photography books. I don't know. Photography of feed, I don't think was an
Was a
actual
picture. Yeah.
category,
No.
right?
BDSM, I guess, but
So you find a category where the number 1 bestseller is like got a very high rank on Amazon, like over 200,000. Like, so you're number 1 in this category, but you're actually over number 200,000 in all of Amazon. I can't think of an example right now, but there's an actual tool that people use called KDP Rocket or Publisher Rocket, that will do this analysis for you, which is totally worth it and you should use this tool if you are going to launch a bestseller. So the key is, what you do is you look at all the categories and see how competitive there are. And there are a lot of them that only take like, say, 10 books sold in one day will get you a number 1 ranking. Or you only need to sell 2 books in one day to get to number 10 in the category. But you really want that number 1. So you try to game it. So like when you set up your Amazon book that you are you're in one of these like low competition, low number of people are buying books in this category, right? And then then you price on just that one day, just that first day only. Price your book at 99 cents. Amazon no longer lets you do it for free, but price it at 99 cents. And then do an email blast. And surely you're going to have enough people on your email list to buy this book at 99 cents, and tell them it's like one day only. You can get my
yeah.
book for 99 cents. Do it. And you should. Most people can easily exceed 30 books in a
Well,
day to
yeah.
do that. And that,
My mom would buy 30 books.
well, yeah. And one other problem is if like they have the same last name or linked to your account, or you ever bought them a gift, they don't count.
Ah, you ruined it for me. Oh, my
Well,
hopes are gone.
they have to be strangers.
She'll be
Probably.
disappointed. She'll
I
still buy
know.
30 books, but
But you could buy 30 of them for her.
that's true.
Or have your friends send
That's
my
true.
mom a book.
Exactly. Exactly. Love bomb
Um,
her with my books.
so it's kind of a game, honestly,
Yeah.
and the people in the publishing industry are like, "That's not a real bestseller," but it is, like, there's a big point of pride about, like, "I was number 1 on Amazon." There's nothing beyond it, but that's how you do it.
So well.
Um I do think though, just to extend that idea, like if you're like a business owner with a book or a thought leader, that Amazon strategies, they're not great for you. You're just probably going to get lost in the 4,000 books that are published every day there. So I do recommend for somebody who is like a thought leader or someone that you sell your book directly to your customers. And this is like a growing trend where there are a bunch of services that will print and directly mail the book
Okay.
to your customers. Then you get their email address, you can learn about them, you can give them special bonuses, and then they become part of your audience that you can nurture for other things. If you have a book on Amazon, you need to do something like offer maybe a free workbook or something with that book and put a QR code inside the book so that they can order it. But you will not know who bought your book on Amazon unless it was your mom and you told her to, and you see the Amazon package on her shelf.
Right.
So,
Right. Well,
right.
and well, you bring up an excellent point because it's one thing to send a book out and then have Amazon sell the book, deliver the book, and all that. But there's much more value in knowing who raised their hand, who put money towards it. So capturing in our world, it's capturing name, email, phone number, physical address if we can in certain genres, and then bring them into a community that brings them more value along the same line of that, and then a lot of them are doing courses, or you can join masterminds, or
Exactly.
everybody's got their own their own little game. Mine's kind of niched. I want people that want to buy and sell houses in Reno. So
That's perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm actually for whatever reason, I have a lot of real estate clients. They're mostly developers.
yeah,
So, it's a good audience. Yes, exactly, and you want those people, and the book is the beginning of the conversation. So for you, like, a good book you might wanna do is to have a book that teaches them everything they need to know before they start working with you. So, like, they're up to speed, when they come in the door.
I like that. I like that because what what that typically does is allows them to get to know me. I realize it's one way, but that's how the trust is formed. It's them going, "Hey, I vetted you. I used this. I found value in that, and since you provided all of that to me, now I trust that you know what you're talking about."
Precisely, and a book, boy, that's authority, right? Um, you can make the book as long as short as you want, but, and you can create, like, these lovely little paperbacks. I love these, like, small ones that you send. You can send them out. People do not throw books away. So, like, it's like an advertisement that just stays on their bookshelf, and you have a nice spine or you have a nice cover. They'll be looking at it for years.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be there until it gets stuck on the shelf behind something else, the Star Wars
Right.
book.
Well,
Um,
and then their ebooks on their phone, but, like, it's nice to be able to have them in all the different formats. Audiobooks too.
oh yes, yeah, audiobooks. I mean, my library and Audible is huge, and
Right,
books
and
Books I go to buy a book because somebody's like, "Oh, you should read," and da, da, and I pull it up and it's already in your library, and I went, "Okay, all right. Just need to read them or listen
I
to them."
love it. Exactly, listen to books. So, like, you can narrate a book yourself, or now that you can clone your voice on 11 Labs and have it do your audio narration for you.
Yes, and save a lot of time right there.
Mhm.
I love that. How do they come up with the graphics for the covers?
A cover, like, as far as I'm concerned, there are a few rules that you have on covers. The cover has to be able to read at postage stamp size. So think the size it is on Kindle. So you have to be like standing in the back of the room and still being able to identify the book. Um, Everyone has their own philosophy about covers. So I think the text has to be as big as humanly possible. Like, I like to read the text. And it and in my opinion, image on that cover needs to provoke an emotional response or give the reader another piece of information that they didn't get from the title. So like for instance, the real estate book I just did, it's just like it's called Making It in Real Estate, Volume 3. It's like uh, a wood frame building going up, which signifies construction. And he wanted it to be specifically American construction, so it like gives you a little bit more of a story. A lot of people I think make the mistake of duplicating their title with the image, whereas the image can do more work for you if you wanted to.
Right, right. Because subconsciously your mind is processing the image.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and it can do double work. But I'm also a fan of just plain old bold, just text covers. I think, that's cool too. Bright colors, big text, good promise. Yeah, but not too clever title. Keep your title to the point.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Now, if somebody's listening and they're really intrigued or it's something they've been thinking about or talking about with the spouse, how could they get a hold of you to start the process?
Sure, you can visit my website at paperbacksandpixels.com. It's a big, long paper, all those spelled out. And you can, click book a call to talk to me or take a look at my offerings.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
And same as so I'll go to the website and check it out. But
definitely.
this had always been something that I have a lot of people that talk about it. One day I'm going to write a book, and I've actually encouraged some friends because they've got amazing stories. Um, but then they thought, I don't know the first step. So you'd be the first step.
It would be the first step, and, I can help you, like, just get over that hump. I mean, a lot of people are like, "What book should I write?" And another mistake people think is that one book has to have everything they know, because a book seems like a really large project, but that's actually not true. It should be very focused on a single idea, explored in depth, as opposed to, like, everything.
Yeah. Oh, that times means we're up.
I guess so.
It's been wonderful chatting with you, and I look forward to conversations in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Have a great day.
Okay.